Okay, welcome to beginning guitar. First thing we want to do is open up the corresponding slides that go with this video. So if you haven't done so already, go into Canvas and then go into the Files section and open up the file labeled Beginning Guitar Slides. So take a moment and go do that. You can pause this video. All right, so once you have your beginning guitar slides open, we're going to start with slide number 1. So first thing we're going to do is talk about sitting with the guitar. So what you want to do is grab your guitar. And so I've got two methods for sitting for the guitar that you can use. So the first one's going to be put the guitar on your right leg or your right thigh. And then going to put your arm kind of over the top, just like this. Can have your forearm kind of like right on this corner of the curve of the guitar. And you're going to have this curved part of the guitar. That's what's going to be right on your right leg. All right. So that's going to be method number 1 for sitting with the guitar. If that's comfortable for you, do that. Okay. And by the way, when you're holding your guitar, you want to keep it about like this. So we don't want it to be too far forward like this, and we don't want it to be too far back like this. Roughly in this area like this is going to be the most beneficial. All right, so then the second method for sitting with the guitar is going to be, and this is the method I use. So I have a footstool, right, like this. And I'm going to put that under my left foot. And then I'm going to put the guitar on my left leg or my left thigh. So this curved part here, right, I'm going to put my left thigh under that, right? And then I'm going to put my arm in this curvature here of the guitar, my forearm, my right forearm. All right, and that's going to be another method of sitting with the guitar. And again, we don't want it to go too far forward like this or too far back like this. A lot of people want to do this because they like to see everything more clearly. But in the long run, it's going to be better about like this, okay? Now, the most important part of this is you got to find what's comfortable and secure for you. It's everyone's built differently. Some people are taller, some people are shorter, some people have longer arms, some people have shorter arms, longer legs, all kinds of things. So really, you might have to kind of experiment a little bit, just kind of find what feels comfortable and secure. Like the guitar is not going to go anywhere, and you'll be able to sit like this for an extended period of time. Okay. Let's move on to our next slide, slide number 2. So let's talk about tuning and strings. So before we even talk about tuning, let's just talk about the strings, right? How many strings do you have? 6. Yes, good. Okay, so we have 6 strings. And if you look at your strings, you might notice that some are thicker than others, right? And some are thinner than others. So the first string is going to be the thinnest string, right? It's also maybe the one nearest the floor. So it's going to be this one here, right? That's my first string. And of course, the one that's right next to that is my second string, right? So that's string number 2. Then the one next to that is going to be string 3, right? And then the one next to that, string 4, and the one next to that, string 5. And then the last one, and also the thickest string, is string number 6. Okay, now string 1 is also going to be called E. All right, and when I play this string, it produces an E pitch. My second string is going to produce a B pitch when I pluck it. Okay, my third string is going to be G. When I pluck it, that's a G pitch. When I pluck my fourth string, you guessed it, that's a D. Okay, then when I pluck my fifth string, A, and my sixth string, E. Okay, so we have 2 E's. First is E and sixth is E. All right, so become familiar with the numbers of the strings, right? That's something that's going to keep coming back again and again throughout your career as a guitarist. So yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. E, B, G, D, A, E. All right. Now, probably, in my experience teaching guitar classes, your guitar is probably out of tune. And usually in a guitar class, I'm there to help, spend about 10 minutes at the beginning of each class to help everyone get their guitars in tune. So we're going to have to mess with these things up here, right? The tuners. So as you can see, each string corresponds to a different tuner. So for my first string, right, my tuners, well, maybe I'll have to give you a close-up here. This would be the tuner for my first string right here. So you'll have to look at your guitar and kind of see, if you have like an electric guitar, it's probably going to look different than this one. But you can see where the string goes. It connects to the tuner. So how to tune your guitar? Well, I think in a class like this, where I'm not there to help you, the best thing to do would be to get a tuner. So, you could go to the music store and get a tuner. I don't know how much they cost. I've actually never bought one. But you could do that. And it comes with instructions and everything. Another thing you could do, probably quicker and cheaper, is just go on your phone and download a guitar tuner, right? And there are some that are for free, and there are some that you have to pay for. I would just get a free one. So the one I have on my phone that I just downloaded is called the Pro Guitar Tuner. So let's see here, and it looks like the little application icon looks like this one here. So hopefully you can see that, Pro Guitar Tuner. Okay, so with the Pro Guitar Tuner, gonna open that up. It's free, and you can see on there you have these different strings, and you can see the thinnest one and the thickest one, so you'll know which E is which. So the first thing to do is just pluck the first string, right? And what we see up top is kind of a little gauge, and what we want to do is get our E, maybe it's hard to see, but there's like a little 0 kind of right at the very top. You want to get to that 0 right at the very top. So let me see what would happen if I just kind of detuned the string a little bit. So right now, okay, it says E flat. And then if I went even lower, now it says, well, still E flat. Okay, so D. So if your first string is not even at E, you're going to have to pull it up, right? And so I'm turning my tuner, and right now, okay, it's E, but it's a little low. So I want to get it to 0, right? If it's 0, then I'm in tune. Okay, so now it looks like, all right, it looks like I'm in tune. So there's my E, right? So I'm going to go through each string, right? Now, string number 2, what's that supposed to be? B. So, okay, looks like maybe I'm a little bit past the 0. I'm like plus 10. So I'm going to bring it back a little bit to 0, right? So that I'll be in tune. Okay, well, that was too far. It's coming back up to 0. All right, that's really close. Okay, so you're gonna want to go through each string and tune it to the correct pitch. All right. Email me if you have a lot, if you're having too much trouble figuring that out. I'll try to help you out. Okay. Next, let's move on to our next slide. Let's talk about something called rest strokes. Okay, so a rest stroke is when we pluck the string with one of our with any one of our fingers on our right hand, and we rest on the string behind it. Okay, so let me give you a kind of a close-up here. So I'm gonna do a rest stroke. Okay, so as you can hopefully see there, I'm plucking the first string and I'm resting on the string right behind it. That is, I'm resting on the second string. So I'm doing a rest stroke. Bam, like that. Okay? So that's a rest stroke. So when you're practicing your rest strokes, keep your finger relaxed and go right through to the string behind it. Okay, just like I just showed you up there. Another thing you might want to do is place your thumb on, how about the 6th string, like this. Use it as kind of an anchor. So we'll kind of go like that. Okay. So go ahead and you can pause this video and practice some rest strokes. All right, maybe even on the 2nd and 3rd and maybe 4th and 5th strings. Okay. All right, so once you're feeling comfortable with your rest strokes, let's move on to the next slide, slide number 4. So now let's talk about alternating I and M. So with guitar, whenever we see I, that's going to stand for index finger on your right hand, on your plucking hand. All right, and if you see M, that's going to indicate middle finger on your plucking hand, which is going to be your right hand for most of us, unless you're playing a left-handed guitar. Then I guess it would be your other hand. But okay, so with guitar, generally, we're going to want to alternate index and middle, and this is going to come into play whenever we're playing any kind of scale, right? Or any kind of melody. Okay, so we always want to alternate index and middle. It just allows for more efficiency. Okay, so let's try this. Let's just practice so let's practice some alternating index and middle rest strokes on the first string. So let's go like this. So let's start with index and then we'll play middle, then index, then middle. So we'll go, how about index, middle, index, middle, all rest strokes. Right, and just alternating index and middle. All right, keeping my hand nice and relaxed. I have my thumb anchored on the 6th string, and I'm just alternating index, middle. Okay, once you're comfortable with that, maybe try it on the 2nd string, the B string. Same idea, alternating rest strokes. going, each one I'm plucking the string and I'm going right through, and I'm resting briefly on the third string, right? So, okay. So we practice those a little bit, get comfortable, maybe go through each string and practice alternating index and middle. Okay. So once you're comfortable with that, let's move on to the next slide.